I do not necessarily expect the sign to keep them away, but I feel like it gives me the right to be unpleasant to them immediately. Story 1. Keep a brochure from a multi-level marketing company by your door. Keep giving them your sales pitch every time they try to give theirs. Story 2. A friend of mine had a no solicitors sign that was routinely ignored. When they had their first baby, he attached an additional note to the doorbell that read, "No solicitors. Sleeping newborn. Press button for enraged man to appear." No one pressed it. Story 3. Remove the no soliciting sign. Replace it with a sign that reads, "Soliciting fee $5,000. Press the button to accept terms and conditions." Story 4. I open my door but do not open my glass storm door. I stand there with a finger pointed at the sign while staring at them. It is literally 2 inches from the doorbell they just pushed. Story 5. Do not be rude. Invite them in and listen to their presentation, but do not waste too much time. When you get to the end, ask when they will return with a written contract. They will likely say they will write it up on the spot. Then tell them you do not trust them to write it up, as they obviously cannot read. When they ask why, walk them back to the front, point to the no soliciting sign, and close the door. Story 6. A friend from work had Jehovah's Witnesses come to his front door despite numerous signs about no soliciting. He told them he would call the police for trespassing. Story 7. Add by knocking. You agree to pay a £50 fee to the sign. You will not actually receive the money, but they will leave as soon as you start demanding it. Alternatively, throw a washing up bowl full of dirty water and potato peelings at them and claim you did not know they were there. Story 8. I waste their time, let them talk, and bait them a bit. Then, I slowly look at the no soliciting sign, point at it, say thank you with a smile, and slowly close the door. Then, I go to their company website and leave a 2-star review. Story 9. Open the door, and as they launch into their presentation, gesture to the sign like a model from The Price is Right. Frame it with your hands, wave them underneath to underline it, tap the corner. Do not say anything to them at any time, just keep modeling around the sign. Story 10. I found out that my city has an ordinance making it illegal to solicit without a city permit displayed and illegal to ring the bell when there is a no soliciting sign. I open the door, ask to see their permit, and take a picture if they have one, which is rare. Then I put my phone on speaker and call the non-emergency police dispatch number in front of them. They are usually well down the block by the time dispatch answers. Depending on my mood and schedule, I either ask them to send an officer to write a citation and have the doorbell video, or I tell the dispatcher what happened and say I am not insisting they come out. But if others complain as well, the officer can contact me and I will join the complaint. A few of the dishonest companies have quit coming to our neighborhood because they know several of us will report them, so it is not worth their time. Story 11. There are many suggestions here, but few are practical or worthwhile. Here is my recommendation, which some may consider fitting into those categories. When you answer the door, ask for the name of their company. Remind them that a no soliciting sign is posted and that they approached the door anyway. Inform them that you will add their company to a list of those you will never buy from. For extra effect, answer the door holding a notepad and pen, and write down the company name when they tell you. Story 12. I open the door holding back my 140-pound mastiff by the collar while she barks like Cujo at them. I tell them, not interested, and close the door. It works every time. Story 13. I tried to convert a Jehovah's Witness to Scientology once, even though I do not know much about either one. I made that up on the fly just like Ron Hubbard did. Story 14. Say you cannot speak English or the common language. Keep repeating the same phrase until they give up trying and move on. Story 15. 2 weeks ago, I had a water leak in my bathroom that led me to remove a bunch of drywall and insulation in the garage below. As I was covered in wet fiberglass and drywall paste in my garage, a door-to-door salesperson came up. Before he even started, I said, "I'm not interested. But you don't even know why I'm here. Does it look like I care?" Story 16. Get their name and address and inform them that they have been trespassed from your property. If they return, they will be arrested. Story 17. I usually open the door, interrupt their opening line with a quick, no, and then close the door before they stop talking. Story 18. My wife and I act like we are in the witness protection program when someone knocks on the door and do not answer. Story 19. I do not have any more soliciting signs, but one time my friend opened my door for Jehovah's Witnesses the morning after a party wearing only his boxers. He is covered in tattoos, and as they started talking, he opened the door the rest of the way to show a kitchen table stacked with empty beer and liquor bottles. This was almost 20 years ago, and they have never been back. They used to come around at least once a year. Story 20. I ask them for the name of their employer and then tell them that they are trespassing, quickly followed by a demand to get off my property. I have had full meltdowns from grown adults. The security personnel are the worst. They act as if you insulted their mother. Story 21. Are you here to accept the one and true God? Have you brought the burnt offerings? We are about to start the sacrifice. Story 22. Open the door and say, I am glad you came by. I am a Jehovah's Witness and would love to share my faith with you. Won't you come in? Story 23. Try to sell them your junk. Be friendly, write their information down, then tell them you are filing trespassing charges. Have full conversations with yourself. Have full conversations with your imaginary friend. Invite them in to see your closet where it lives and ask them to turn off all electronic devices. Story 24. Open the door and start screaming. Act like you are mentally ill. This way, they will think that the reason behind the no soliciting sign is due to mental illness, and you will leave them confused and speechless. Story 25. Look at them. Look at the sign. Look back at them. Look back at the sign. Repeat this until they understand. Or you could always just say, can't you read? Story 26. Ask if they are there to take you on a date. After all, any decent person would not be there as a business solicitor. Story 27. You are getting plenty of fun answers from others, so here is what I actually do. As soon as I realize what they are there for, I say, I am sorry, I am not interested, and close the door. Closing the door ends it. Nothing more is needed. They leave. I used to try to be more polite, but that leaves room for them to redirect. Just close the door and it is done. I do have a Ring doorbell, and most of the time solicitors see the sign and turn around and leave before reaching the door, so it is not a problem that often. Story 28. I rent. However, I do not answer the door. Recently, 2 salespeople approached my door within a week. They were undercover, so I allowed them to snoop around. I have not had a visitor since. Story 29. If they could not read the sign, they must be illiterate. Interrupt them and offer a sales pitch for kindergarten-level English lessons. Story 30. As demonstrated by your lack of understanding the meaning of no soliciting, I can see why you settled on door-to-door sales. Story 31. Open the door rapidly, breathing hard, eyes unblinking, just staring. Then tilt your head, slowly smile and say, thank you, my master. Another one to add to the collection. Story 32. Perfect. I was waiting for my next sacrifice. The deities told me the perfect vessel would come to me and ask. Story 33. Ask them if they have a solicitor license for your town or city. If they say no, tell them, okay, wait there for a second. I need to make a phone call. Story 34. Many towns only allow door-to-door soliciting if the company has credentials with the town. In cases where this applies, solicitors are supposed to avoid doors with a sign indicating no solicitation. If they do approach such doors, you can file a complaint with the city to have their credentials revoked. Most towns require solicitors to provide credentials upon request, and you may call the police if they do not comply. Otherwise, I try to waste as much of their time as possible. Make it really annoying for them too. They want your time to be more valuable than theirs. Keep changing the subject, going on tangents, interrupting them, and just keep talking about nonsense. The main point is to find some enjoyment in it. If you see it as an opportunity to make them suffer, then their visit to your door is a big win for you. Story 35. In the United States, If they ignore the no soliciting sign, they are technically trespassing. Theoretically, you can call the police, but that will make the police dislike you. They are legally required to respond, but they will dislike you. Story 36. Have a sign that says, "Please do not ring the bell." The veteran living here has post-traumatic stress disorder, and it triggers his fight response. Story 37. I love when this happens. I interrupt their sales pitch and ask if they are here for a reading lesson, pointing at the sign. I have received reactions ranging from amusement to extreme anger. Yes, I am firm about it, but my no soliciting sign is placed right above my do not knock or ring the doorbell sign. If they ignore both, causing my dogs to go crazy and interrupting my workday or waking up my toddler, I will be firm about it. Story 38. I did door-to-door sales for 4 years. If a representative is knocking and you have a sign posted on your property, that is generally illegal. Just say you are calling the police and close the door on them. I never knocked on no soliciting doors because I can read and have ethics in the sales process. If you are in a district that requires permits for solicitation, ask to see their permit. Most do not go through the process. If they do not show it, tell them to leave or you will call the authorities. Story 39. This is effective. Just start talking to them about how bad circumcision is. This will elicit a very quick decision to move on to the next house, and I get to spread the message. Story 40. Tell them to come in. I hope you bought more lubricant than the last person did. He was dry by the end. Story 41. Every couple of years, I get members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at my door despite a no soliciting sign. I try to convince them that God is not real. Story 42. I have a sign and a flag by my front door. However, I am often in the garage and seen as an opportunity. As soon as they say, "Hi, I am so-and-so for such and such," I say, "Let me stop you right there. I do not have money. I have a no soliciting sign on the home. Plain and to the point." Usually, they listen. Sometimes, they take a break to marvel at my Ghostbusters truck and containment unit in the back of the garage. Story 43. Not directly soliciting, but I told the Jehovah's Witnesses that I would probably go up in flames if their God existed and I stepped into their church. That is my go-to answer for the religious type. I have also gotten into the debate about why there are no computers in heaven. That was really weird. Story 44. Wasting their time. If you have a sign, let them continue for as long as you are willing to tolerate. Then interrupt and say, "I am not interested in this product or service now or ever. Leave my property or I will call the police." As you point to the sign. Story 45. You can be rude or you can be politely dismissive. That part is up to you. I have shadowed door-to-door salespeople and they do not care about those signs. When I pointed one out and suggested we skip a place, I was directly told, "Those signs are for water jug salespeople. I am providing a quality service that can actually help people." He was selling insurance. My advice is to remove the signs and learn to ignore the door. Story 46. Sell him on the importance and necessity of a job solicitation sign. Or do what my 104-year-old grandmother does. Pretend to be deaf and use sign language. Story 47. Answer with a Bible in your hand. Invite them inside to talk about your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If they are still willing, this is where a little preparation comes in handy. Your version of faith does not conform to anything accepted by any other religion. Your Bible has handwritten notes, pictures, large sections crossed out, additions in crayon, and a comic book inserted into the middle of Genesis. Insist they stay for the sacrifice. Hand them a Mardi Gras mask and tell them to put it on before leading the prayer. Interrupt the prayer to correct it, as if you were acting out a scene in Whose Line Is It Anyway? Story 48. Give them one of those C-Spot Run books and tell them they need to learn reading comprehension before they do any more soliciting. Story 49. I am required by law to disclose that I am a registered sex offender. I feel like that would do the trick. Story 50. Send out the dog and turn on the sprinklers. If you have a Ring doorbell, talk creepily through the speaker. Story 51. This sounds cool. Will my bankruptcy affect financing? For door-to-door missionaries, when they ask if anyone else lives here, I just tell them me, my husband, and our 2 adopted children. I am male, so this usually shoos them away quickly. Story 52. Answer the door and start raving about extraterrestrials and reptilian beings. This method works on telemarketers and military recruiters as well. Story 53. I just tell them to leave and shut the door. I work from home and get tired of these people thinking it's okay to knock on the door every day like they're the first ones to try to scam elderly people at home or whatever they claim to be doing. Story 54. Go play outside your own door. If they hesitate, follow up with, run along now. Be a good boy or girl. Story 55. I will wait for a pause in their pitch, let them know I am not interested, and offer them a bottle of water. They are not leaving empty-handed. My energy is not wasted, and they are hydrated. Story 56. Open the door completely naked, covered in mayonnaise with your weapon. They will never come back again. Story 57. I am sorry. If you are not able to read or follow directions, for your own safety and for insurance purposes, we cannot hire you to work on our house. Story 58. If you are going to antagonize them, consider getting their business card first. Depending on how far you take it, having their contact information might make them think twice before retaliating. Also, get a camera. Story 59. No answer seems to be the best choice. They want to engage with you. Do not do that. If you respond, you are giving them what they want. Story 60. Offer a reading course for only $1,500 because apparently he cannot read. An English course can improve vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. It helps students communicate effectively in various situations, enhances career opportunities, and builds confidence. The course includes interactive lessons, practice exercises, and personalized feedback to support language learning. Story 61. Just say, hold on a second, let me get the homeowner, and leave them at the door for however long they will wait. Story 62. I open the door and before they say anything, I say that I am not interested and close the door. I do not even let them talk. Story 63. Get their number and sign them up for as many automobile, health, and life insurance companies as you can find online. Then include Rocket Mortgage, LendingTree, and similar services. Any site that aggregates quotes and connects you with sales agents from these various companies is useful. Story 64. I had a friend who would just stare at them. No reaction, no gestures, just stonewalling. He would not answer their questions, only silence and unbroken eye contact. Eventually, they leave. He watches them leave from his window. Story 65. If there is a no soliciting sign, they have already been given notice of trespass. When they enter anyway, it is criminal trespass. Although no one may care, get their name and company and report it anyway. Story 66. If I do not know who you are, I will not answer the door. If I did not invite you to my house, I do not need whatever you are selling or promoting. Story 67. We have a video doorbell, and I have a funny clip of 2 men ringing the doorbell, waiting several seconds. Then one of them finally notices the sign and says, "No soliciting," and they take off running. Made my day. Story 68. Play a character and do it to your strengths. If you have a good yelling voice, play a drill sergeant. Insult everything from their private parts to their mother, the whole shebang. If you have children, be the disappointed father or mother. If you are okay with being difficult, act like the adult child only the devil himself wants to avoid. Be creative and be someone nobody wants to be on the receiving end of. Story 69. I have a no soliciting sign that threatens sacrifice to the old gods. I simply ask which old god they would like to serve for eternity. They tend to leave quickly. Story 70. I open the door and interrupt their pitch with a simple question. Can you read? Followed by, can you read English? Then I point at the sign, remind them that my homeowners association has a posted no soliciting policy at every entrance of the subdivision, and tell them I am calling the police as I close and lock the door. They normally leave, get in their car, and leave me and my neighbors alone. One time, someone rang the bell a second time. I answered the door with a pistol in my hand, pointed at the ground, and asked if they really wanted to argue with me while trespassing on my property. They left rather quickly. Story 71. Look at them, then look at the sign. Do this several times before rolling your eyes and closing the door. Story 72. My sign says, solicitors will be put to work in the garden. I will boldly open the door, point to the sign, and take them by the hand, leading them to the garden where they will learn to love the earth. I will record the entire experience with my phone. Story 73. What country are you in? I have not seen a door-to-door salesperson in a long time. I am in the United States. If someone came to my place with a sign posted like that, I would clearly ask them if they were not able to read. Then I would just say what the sign says. Turn around and close the door. Story 74. If I had the time, I would invite them in, let them do their whole pitch, ask many questions, act very interested, and waste as much of their time as possible. Then, right before I sign, I would say, I am not the least bit interested. That is why I have a no soliciting sign on my door. Story 75. As a former door-to-door salesman who was taught to counter at least 2 rejections per customer, I would say quick kindness. Oh no, I'm not interested. Through the door, a wave off, or my favorite, no, but thank you. Story 76. The son, about 20 years old, was around 10 at the time. The front door was open, but the screen door was shut and locked. I was sitting in the living room, out of view from the door. A salesman knocked. The son ran to the door, thinking it was one of his friends. The salesman said, "Hi there. Can I speak with your mother?" My son replied, "No, she is dead." The salesman said, "Oh, have a good day." I laughed loudly. Story 77. Reverse recruitment for religion. Open the door and ask if they have accepted Cthulhu as their Lord and Savior. Story 78. They are just trying to do a job. There is no need to be rude. Either do not answer the door or tell them you are not interested and close the door. Why are you looking for reasons to justify being rude? That is a lot of anger and resentment to hold onto for no reason. Take a breath. It will be good for you. Story 79. I do not answer my door to anyone I am not expecting. They can stand there knocking for 2 hours for all I care. It is their own time they are wasting. I have noise-canceling headphones. Story 80. Whatever they are selling. Oh, sorry. My daughter is a real estate agent, Bible salesperson, vacuum cleaner salesperson, and so on. Story 81. Make direct eye contact and start taking off your clothes while they talk. I've gotten to my underwear before the Jehovah's Witnesses gave up, but never all the way naked. If a cult wants to disrupt my peace, I will resist them right back. Chaotic good is my life motto. Story 82. Why do you need to respond at all? Just do not open the door. I have a camera on my door. I know it is a salesperson, a Jehovah's Witness, or some kid selling cookies. So I just do not open the door. They can waste their time standing on my front porch all they want. If they get upset and will not leave because they can see me through my window, I just set off the alarm function on my camera. It is not very loud, but it makes it seem like they are attempting to do something suspicious. I did that to a Jehovah's Witness once because she saw me through the window. I have never seen an old lady move that fast. Story 83. I also have an I work from home and cannot answer the door sign next to the no soliciting sign. I seldom get anyone knocking, but when I do, I answer the door with my headset on and tell them that I am working and cannot talk. Story 84. Ask them questions about their product, and every time they try to answer or talk, respond firmly with this. Story 85. Save everybody time. I just say no thanks and close the door. I do not wait for them to speak or wait for a response. We can both move on with our day. Story 86. I once had members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints knocking at my door, so I got excited and asked them if they were familiar with the movie Orgasmo, an early film by the creators of South Park. Then I proceeded to tell them about it in great detail. They decided not to talk to me that day and never came back. Story 87. I will speak to them through the doorbell camera and ask 2 questions. 1. Do you see the no soliciting sign above the doorbell? Do you know what that means? If they answer yes, I will say, "We are done here," and wait for them to leave. Story 88. Just do not answer the door. I do not know why people think they are obligated to open the door just because someone knocks on it. Story 89. I give them holy hell and I yell at them. My favorite response is, just what kind of a damn learning disability do you have if you can't read and understand a simple sign that says no soliciting? Story 90. Assuming you live somewhere where no soliciting signs are enforceable, you just open the door and say, "Hey, what is your full legal name and what is the name of the company you work for?" As you pull out your phone and open the Notes app, they leave real fast. Story 91. I just start speaking German to them. Practically nobody speaks German here. They get confused and leave. Story 92. I just pointed at the sign and said, "I'm sorry, you must have missed that." One man went on anyway, saying, "Oh yeah, it's just that we're out here doing such and such," and continued with his speech. I said, "You know what? I would like to have your card after all." He finally got the point and said something dumb like, "You just want to get me in trouble," and left. Story 93. Get them, Mr. Wigglesworth. But because Mr. Wigglesworth is of the feline persuasion, solicitation wins every time. Story 94. Camera and speaker with doorbell. Just berate them from the couch using your phone. Give me 5 good reasons to get up and open the door. After 5 reasons, not good enough. Now please leave. Story 95. I always tell them I am not the homeowner, so I cannot authorize security systems, solar panels, or other installations. My landlord pays for pest control. It is not witty or funny, but it does get them off my doorstep, if I even open the door. Story 96. Record with your phone when answering the door. Make it obvious and clearly visible. Ask them for identification. Threaten to call the police. Story 97. I am always difficult to salespeople regardless. I am their worst nightmare. The very fact that you are the kind of person who could find enjoyment in manipulating people makes you a horrible person in my opinion. Story 98. I keep brochures I found of Religion X. When the Jesus people knock on my door, let us face it, no other religion does. I give them my brochure and tell them about it. I suggest they give it a try. Story 99. Understand that they are just someone trying to do a job and do not be rude to them. Politely tell them that you are not interested or are interested, and let it go at that. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.